Cheers! Hey winners, welcome or welcome back to this channel. I am a Winnie. I make locks and travel content. I do want to say before this video continues, my camera's been acting up lately, so if it gets a little bit blurry in and out, I do apologize for that. I don't know what is going on. Anyway, if this is the first time you're watching a video of mine, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you're notified every single time that I upload. And if you're an oldie and you've come back to watch this face of mine, love you a long time. I really appreciate the constant love and support. So obviously I recently dropped a video where I was talking about the 4 benefits of interlocking locks, so now it makes sense for me to talk about the cons of interlocking locks, right? However, before we get into that, I need to do a very quick summary. As usual, I've had my locks since 2011. I've had different methods since then. So I've had interlocking, retwisting, semi-freeforming, retwisting again, and I'm currently semi-freeforming for now. Might decide next year to change my mind and start retwisting again here and there, who knows. However, that's why thought I'd make the next few videos basically talking about the pros and cons for each of the methods that I have experience in. So these are just my opinions, my thoughts. I'm not a professional. You're entitled to also have your thoughts and your opinions, and please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Just keep it respectful because I don't like disrespectful comments. So this video is all about the 5 cons of interlocking locks. My first point, which I've got here so I don't miss out on anything, in my opinion, right, contrary to popular belief, I personally don't think that interlocking actually helps your locks lock together quickly. So the reason why I even first started getting my locks interlocked, so the first five and a half years of my lock journey, I was getting interlocked, is because I was told by multiple people that because my hair is very soft, it will take a very long time for it to mat together naturally, and so interlocking will be the best method, the best way to get my locks to mat together quicker. I personally think it was an absolute lie. Personally, I don't think that interlocking helped to have my hair locked together quicker. I think it helped to give the illusion that it was locking together, because essentially, can't speak for anybody else's hair, I felt like interlocking just kind of created knots. It's essentially just tying the roots, or getting my locks to be tied together as close to the scalp as possible. But in regards to the actual matting process, absolutely not. Biggest myth ever in the lock community, in my opinion. My second point is, if regularly and incorrectly, emphasis on the incorrectly part is well done, it can actually damage your locks or cause it to fall out. So I'll be honest, I feel like when I was getting my hair interlocked, I was very much obsessed with wanting my locks to look a certain way. I was obsessed with me wanting it to look neat. I was obsessed with wanting every single grain in a place. And initially when I was getting my hair interlocked, I was getting it professionally done, so I was spacing out how often I would get it done. However, at some point I then managed to teach myself how to interlock. I personally thought it wasn't that hard. Watched a couple videos on YouTube, and hey pesto, like Bob was my uncle, okay? And I found it to be very easy. And there was a point in time, I believe in 2016, where I went to go and live in Ghana for about 6 or 7 months, and I was interlocking my hair myself because I was like, I'm in Ghana, I kind of don't like the idea of having somebody else all up in my hair, so let me learn how to do it myself. And so what happened was, I was interlocking my locks way too regularly. I was probably doing it incorrectly at that, and I remember there was one time when I was doing it, and as I was doing it, a lock literally fell out. My third point is that I find that interlocking your locks gives your hair a thinner appearance compared to other lock maintenance options. Feel like that's very self-explanatory, but yeah, I find that when I was interlocking my locks looked and were hell of a lot thinner. And I don't know if maybe that's just down to maybe my hair type at the time, or whatever it may be, or the whole constant like looping your locks through your roots and whatever it was. But I found that my locks were just kind of like I kind of want to say lifeless, but I guess essentially like when your locks are dangling out, it kind of is lifeless hair. But it was just, it lacked a lot of it lacked volume, it lacked thickness. It was just, I don't know how to word it, but it just had like a very much thinner appearance compared to like how my locks currently look right now. My fourth point is that it can be super time consuming depending on the length and the thickness of your locks. I'm gonna be so for real, I absolutely used to hate getting my locks interlocked for this reason, because you need to keep in mind, depending on how many locks you have and the length, etc., every single lock, right, has to go through the root of each lock multiple times in multiple directions until it's tight enough to your liking, right? Now imagine having, I can't remember at the time, or maybe I had like 100 and I want to say 25, 30 locks, right? So imagine having between 125 to 130 locks, and you've got to sit there and have somebody do it to each lock multiple times. And it's even worse when you're doing it yourself, because at least with a professional can get through it quicker. But if you're doing it yourself, it's probably going to take you double the time than a professional who's doing it. It was absolutely awful, right? In short, I absolutely hated it. My fifth point is interlocking can be more expensive, right? And I guess this point is more targeted to those who go to the hair salon to get their locks done. I have always found this to be the case. Let's just say if, I don't know, retwists were, I'll throw a random figure out there. Say if getting your locks retwisted at the hair salon was like £80, right? Interlocking is probably something like 150, 140 or 150, might even be more than that right about now. I have no idea what salon prices are. And to be fair to those lock salons, I absolutely get why, because retwisting at the end of the day takes far less time compared to interlocking, where you're literally using a crochet needle, having to go in multiple times, and it's long. It's absolutely long. So from that aspect, if you do interlock your locks, as in you go to the salon and get it professionally done, you probably know that it is expensive. Unless you're doing it yourself and you know what you're doing, then obviously that's always a great way for you to cut costs. But then that's like anything with life. Like even if you're not interlocking and you're just retwisting your hair and you're retwisting it at home, it cuts costs anyway. But yes, interlocking can be a very expensive method. So yeah, that basically covers the cons of interlocking. And the video before this one, if you haven't already watched it, I was talking about the pros. Feel free to drop in a comment section below what you have found, or what you think the cons of interlocking for your locks are. Obviously, if you're more like pro for it, there is a video before this one where you can drop your comments on that. But like usual, I always say everybody should do what's best for them. I personally believe that with every single method, when it comes to locks, there's always going to be pros and cons for everything, whether you interlock, whether you retwist, whether you freeform, whether you semi-freeform. It's all about you kind of being informed so that you can make the best decision for your locks, and not necessarily taking everybody else's opinions, whether it's positive or negative, on board. Like, you can hear what other people like myself are saying, but always do what is best for you. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts in regards to that, and until my next one, take care, be good.